All right, so we are here to talk about the new 24 Can-Am. Everybody's talking about it. What is it going to be? What is it going to actually look like? There's a ton of schematics out there. Let us know what you think in the comments. See it. Have you drove it? Have you seen it in real life? Let us know.
Let us know if you want to see more news like this.
Follow us on our Facebook forum if you would like to go riding with us. We're headed to UTV Invasion in St. Anthony. If you'd like to come riding with us, hit us up.
And I would say at the end of the day, I would be willing to buy a Can-Am if there's a few things that got covered. I love my Pro R, but I do love the fact that the Can-Am is fast. Mm-hmm. So the brakes aren't that good on the Can-Am. It's one thing I don't like. Mm-hmm. So if they fix that, I'd be in. The interior, like creature comforts, like a screen and all that stuff, good line of sight, I would be in on that. Also, I mean, if we're gonna redo it, I'd like it to have more power, even though it's already faster than the Pro R.
Yeah.
So a motor package, and then
one of the things that you struggle with the Can-Am is your seat position.
Yeah. So I mean, if we can get the seat position better or just the line of sight better, I'll be interested in that.
Yeah.
So I mean, what's your thoughts on this new Can-Am coming out?
Well, I definitely think that what we've seen so far is the mule is really ugly photos, and I think all of it is fake. I think it's deep fake photos, even when it comes down to some of the suspension parts, which Bo is going to talk about a little bit. But I think the front end on the mule is fake. I think the A-arms going over the tire, I think that's fake. The only thing that I think is real about that car is the right in front of the rear tire, how the fender goes up and over. I think the cage is fake, but I think that rear quarter panel, or whatever you call it, I think that's real. I think it's really cool looking.
Minor redesigns of the actual car as far as aesthetics.
Yeah, but I think as far as the mules that we've seen, the doors, the cage, the front end, everything is fake. Even some of the suspension parts. I'm excited about the motor. I think it's going to be like a 1300cc turbo with a lot of power and very reliable. I do not think it's going to be a new motor.
You don't think it's going to be a new motor?
I think it's going to probably come from a sled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So a new 1300cc.
A different motor for Can-Am, just not a
new motor.
Different motor for the side-by-side, but not a new motor, something tried and true. I mean, that's something that Can-Am has just perfected. Their motors are just awesome.
There's a legit motor.
Yeah.
I think we talked a lot about the transmission. It's a very appealing thing for a lot of people, especially someone that came from a sequential transmission and loves that 3-pedal. I don't know if we're going to get a 3-pedal. I think we're going to end up with this kind of Honda-ish, the way that Yamaha's kind of going, automatic available, but paddle shifting, maybe up to a 7-speed transmission.
Ooh, paddle shifter.
So I think that's probably what we're
awesome.
going to get. Suspension-wise, we've seen all these different schematics.
What's the latest schematic that you've seen, Bo?
I think the latest one, we can throw these up here. We have the old one with its over the tire. We have the new one, which I think is also more realistic, which is it's flush with the tire. So the tire can be upgraded. It's not hanging over the tire.
Uh-huh.
At the end of the day, I don't think any of these are real. As far as over the tire, this weird A-arm that we're seeing on
You don't think that's real?
I don't think that it's actually going to happen. I think you're going to get suspension similar to what the Pro R has, right? Maybe a lower A-arm mounted shock, but that's probably the extent.
You don't think they're doing that praying mantis thing?
I don't think they're doing the praying mantis thing.
Pull back.
Please no.
I don't think so either.
Can-Am has a pretty good success rate on their suspension. I know we talk a lot about the flaws of it, but all in all, if you're not driving your car like I guess we tend to do, it is a pretty solid suspension setup. And I think
it's a comfortable car.
It's a comfortable car, and so I think they're going to do as few changes as possible with it. And I think the biggest thing you're going to see is that shock mount dropped to the lower AR, similar to how the Pro R is.
Have you ever adjusted the suspension on your car?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I got it from you, I put it right back to factory, and then I tweak it every single time we go riding to different places.
Bo, do you think there's going to be electronic suspension?
Yes.
Cool. I think that would be, an ask that you would have. But you
They already do it.
They do have electronic suspension.
Well, yeah, they've got kind of a cheesy electronic suspension.
Do I think
Three
it's going
modes.
to be? Do I think it's going to be up to the caliber of the Pro R?
Okay.
I don't think dynamic.
I still believe
What
they're
are
going to
your
do the
predictions?
praying mantis suspension.
You think
Really?
they're-
But I don't think it's going to go over the tire because I think that would hurt about 50% of the buyers.
Yeah.
But I still do think they're going to do the praying mantis suspension.
Well, I think it's really cool. I think we're all excited. I wonder what the viewers are going to think. You know,
Yeah.
what are they going to call it? Are they going to call it the X4? Or are they going to call it the X3C?
Or the X6 because they're going to have 6 lugs.
Who knows?
So that's one thing like they're doing is 6 lugs it's looking like in the schematics. Also which means potentially bigger brakes.
Better brakes.
Which I love that idea.
Stronger hubs.
Mm-hmm. And then another thing is the creature comforts. The line of sight looks like it's going to be better than the old X3. And then also in one of the schematics we saw a screen for like, you know, kind of like a ride command kind of a screen. So they got that for me. They got the brakes, got more power, they got a turbo, sequential, which that's going to be fun. I would say that probably the most concerning thing to me is going to be that sequential transmission. I love how easy it is to
Like
drive
the-
my Pro R.
The big negative, you mean?
Did I say this a positive? Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the big negative to me is going to be potentially that sequential transmission. I love the fact that we're going to be able to drive our car and have to drive it. But as far as like the 4-mile track, can you imagine all those corners or even just out here in the desert ripping? Like,
Yeah, I can. It's weird.
Yeah.
yeah, but at double the speed.
Oh,
is
yeah.
it? How
But
is
that's
it?
what I'm saying,
With all
at
the
double the
power
speed.
and speed, how do you think it's
So
going to be?
double the power, double the speed. I will say I absolutely loved the YXC driving on that track. Double the power, double the speed. Ugh.
It's going to be difficult.
it's gonna
That's
be
my
difficult,
point.
but it's
I
gonna be
think
fun.
it'll be fun, but it will be a very difficult car to drive.
My big negative is going to be the price. This thing is going to be expensive.
Do you think it's going to be more than the Pro R?
I think it's going to be more than the Pro R.
What's your
Yeah.
guess then?
I
I was guessing 45.
Okay, I think this car is going to breach the 50 mark
In a 4-seat? Or in even a 2-seat?
in the 4-seat.
But not in the 2-seat.
I think it's 2 seats.
So you think 49 in the 2-seat?
I think probably like
54?
48 and then 52.
Okay.
Think about all the things that they're adding to this car.
They are adding a ton.
They're adding a ton.
But
so,
but I mean their most expensive car was technically 39, wasn't it?
yeah, but
So-
it was very basic. Everything in
was.
the Can-Am is very the seats, the interior, it's all very basic.
It'll be an expensive car.
So you're
Yeah.
saying 50. I'm gonna say 44.
44 for a
okay.
2-seat?
2-seat.
44?
45 for a 4-seat.
So I'm 48 for the 2-seat top tier.
I'm kind of in the same with him.
Okay.
I think they're gonna try to keep it under 40 as
They've
much
done
as
really
possible.
well on this price thing
Yeah.
for the last few
I
years.
agreed.
So,
Is there anything you're concerned about with the Can-Am?
biggest thing is it's just the first model year, especially if they're changing all the things we've talked about.
a
It's
lot
just
of change.
prone to something going wrong.
The only reason I used to really be a lot more scared about a first year model, but like, you know, we're friends with a couple engineers and stuff. I mean, the Pro R, I mean, if you talk to anybody that knows anything, that thing was supposed to come out like 4 years before it even came out.
Mhm.
They do so much testing.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm kind of like, eh.
It's going to be a great car.
Yeah.
My other prediction about this Can-Am, I forgot.
I do see one issue with this car being with the sequential, like I kind of talked about earlier, being a harder car to drive.
Yeah.
I see people leaving the Pro R because they're like, oh, the new Can-Am's just the shiz. But like, if you're not out there to try to drive hard and like race constantly, I think you're gonna regret it because you have to shift.
Yeah.
Like going from the Funko to the Pro R at the sand dunes and back,
Mhm.
like I went from like, oh, this is the easiest thing to drive to the Funko. I'm like, oh wow, this is like work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like you really have to be on your A game 24/7 if you're having to shift because you got to know, okay, I'm going up a hill. I got to be in the right gear.
Here's my big prediction about this car. I remembered what my big prediction is. It came to me, so I just got to interrupt you.
Hurry.
All right, my big prediction is that they are going to accessorize the crap out of this thing. Like they're going to want you to buy all the accessories from Can-Am. I think that Polaris has figured that out. I think Speed figured that out, and Can-Am is going to fall right in line with. They're going to say every accessory you need for this thing you can get from your dealer.
So
Yeah.
kind of like the Expedition where I accessorize it out, I'm at 60 grand.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
accessorize it out from the dealership, and most people are going to end up with a really high price point when they walk out of the dealership.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can see that happening.
I see them doing. I mean, everybody's doing that
Everybody's
now, so
doing
I see
it.
that happening.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of hard not to want to buy.
Yeah, it's going to be, I might have to get a loan and buy one because I already have a Pro R. I already bought a Speed, should be here in like October probably. So, who knows?
October 2024. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Am I going to get the Can-Am too, and then sell off the ones that I don't
Between the
want?
between the two of us, I think we'll end up with 2 Speeds, 2 Pro Rs, 2 Can-Ams, and we'll just sell the ones we don't like.
Yeah, so stay tuned because you're going to see some awesome content
Yeah.
right here on Desert Side by Side.
So stay tuned, keep watching, because you're about to see the 3 heavy hitters go against each other as we put them on our 4-mile track.
It's going to be awesome.
The only thing that will make us happier is if you liked and subscribed. Anybody else's heart? Holy Hell yeah.
Did you get him? You got him. Go, go, go.
Desert SXS road trip with the Wolf Pack.